Boom, shake the room. JLD is in the house, the leader of Fire Nation, everybody. Welcome, John Lee Dumas. How the heck are you, brother?
Doing good down here in Puerto Rico, but, you know, with a raw relief roll on, how can I not?
That's what I'm talking about. The power of the raw.
I was not paid to say that.
I love it, man. I love that I got down there, and I'd love to get into Puerto Rico with you a little bit because I am so curious about that Act 20 bill that's going on down there. But first, I want to give you a little intro, brother. You are the author of the best-selling Common Path to Uncommon Success book, creator of my favorite journal out there, this Mastery Journal over here, which I just love and use every day, and also the #1 daily podcast of over 3,000 of the most successful entrepreneurs around the world, Entrepreneurs on Fire. So excited to have you here and share your insights with our crowd, with our audience. And yeah, man. So how's the weather right now down there in Puerto Rico?
It's perfect. It is absolutely paradise. You know, once you live down here for a little while, you acclimate to the humidity, which isn't terrible, but it is humid down here. And then life is good. I mean, you know, you just get to see the sun every day. Vitamin D is amazing. And yeah, life's good.
Love it. So obviously you have the #1 podcast for business entrepreneurs, interviewed over 3,000, had all these value bombs dropped, and you put together this incredible book that I've had a chance to read a few times over and definitely implement and encourage everybody to run out there and make sure you get that book. And, but you know, what would you say was kind of that one secret that most people might disagree with, kind of throwing a question right back at you, to keep your stamina up and your energy up, to be able to push through and have the most successful business entrepreneur podcast in the world?
You've got to have a combination. The combination has to be passion and skills. You need to have both. Like, you want to enjoy the thing that you're doing, but you also have to be adding value to the world and to be good at that thing. Most people have one or the other. They're either really passionate about something, but they're not that good at it, so it's kind of like a hobby, or like they're just like really good at it and they have a lot of skills, but there's no passion there, so they get burned out quickly because, like, why the heck do they want to keep doing this thing they don't really enjoy doing? You've got to have both. I've always had both when it comes to interviewing business owners and entrepreneurs. I just enjoy the conversations. I love the back and forth. I'm still curious. 10 years, 3,000 interviews later, 100 million total listens. I still look forward to those conversations because they're fun and I learn and I get to implement and it's enjoyable. So that's the deadly combination.
Love it, brother. Love it. Well, I just was listening to a recent podcast of yours, Entrepreneurs on Fire, June 29th. You were interviewing the owner of Samcart. And I thought the value bomb that really got me was 5 testimonials on your landing and sales page contributed to an 81% higher conversion. I immediately went out there and put 5 testimonials.
Yeah. And let me tell you, let me one up that right now.
Yeah.
Make those 5 testimonials video, 30 seconds or less, with a diverse crowd. So that's your next step, is get them as videos, get them under 30 seconds. You have to be under 30 seconds and it has to be diverse. There's got to be an old woman, a younger man, and, you know, there's got to be diversity within it. People have to be able to see themselves within this testimonial. Just words on a page aren't nearly as valuable as the actual video side of things. So that's your next process.
Love it. Taking it next level. Love it. So one of the things I love most about your book, actually the journal, the Mastery Journal, is that you really break down your morning routine and you give examples. Because I'm one of those people that you can kind of teach me something, but once I see a template, then I can kind of model it and be like, okay, that's what that means. And, oh, that's a good idea. Or I do something similar to that. I know a lot of people out there, and we're talking to a lot of people that have had health issues with pain, anxiety, sleep, those types of things. And, you know, some of the hacks, if you will, that I've seen over the years is that, you know, morning routine. And I know you probably know, you know, have a pretty solid, you know, routine every morning. Do you care to share that with the audience with you?
Yeah, it's critical. So first off, your morning routine starts the night before. It's by going to bed at a reasonable hour, a consistent hour. For me, that's between 9 and 9:30. And yes, that sounds early for some people, but hey, I get up early. So I'm in bed, I'm reading, I'm falling asleep, hopefully before 9:30 with my Aura ring on. So that when I wake up in the morning, I can check my sleep score and I can see what's working, what's not, what's my deep sleep, what's my REM sleep, what's my overall sleep score with my Aura ring, what was my HRV, my heart rate variability, what was my heart rate. And then I wake up and I can start to say, okay, like, why was my sleep bad? I can kind of identify why it might have been bad through various reasons, and then try to consistently improve upon that. Maybe I drank too much water before bed. Maybe I ate too close to going to sleep, blah, blah, blah. There's caffeine too late in the day. And then I'm up, again, always improving with that morning routine. And I am outdoors. I'm walking my dog in the blue sky, in the sun, getting my cortisol levels going, getting the blood flowing, taking my dog for a walk, coming back. Then I am into my gym doing weights. I have a virtual trainer that I work out with 3 days per week. I'm on my Peloton 3 days per week for some extra sprint cardio. I have a red light therapy. I've also got a rebounder. I've also got an infrared sauna, and I have a cold plunge. And I top everything off with 12 minutes of stretching. So listen, bro, that was a lot right there. And that was developed over years, putting one thing in at a time. That wasn't all day one. But now my morning routine can take me anywhere from 90 minutes to 2 hours. But it's time that I'm able and willing to dedicate because it is how I start my day. And morning routines are so critical for all of those reasons.
Now I have to ask you, you use your own journal every day and you're starting in your morning routine.
Part of my journaling process, like it is part of my meditation process, as part of my
Just hold tight here for just a little technical difficulties. Well, we're just waiting for John to come back. Maybe that internet connection isn't so great in Puerto Rico. We'll have to see what it was. Either ways, we will definitely make sure that we finish the interview. I see Scott out there paying attention. Good afternoon, Scott. And Thomas, good afternoon. Hope you're doing well out there across the pond. And we'll keep our fingers crossed that JLD will join us. What's up, Gregory? SoCal is right. What are we going to do about our Mets? Make sure we keep the thumbs up, right? Yeah, it's pretty wild stuff. I saw that Lindor was out at the U.S. Open right across the street from Old Shea, which is my oldest son's name. And he was signing autographs, and a couple of the fans were giving him a hard time because they said, keep the thumbs up. So, yeah, I don't know if that Javi Baez really kind of know what he stepped into by calling out the Mets fans. Good luck with that. We'll see how that all shakes out. Thomas bought the book from JLD and follow his podcast. Me too as well. I actually have the audiobook is what I usually listen to. So I have the book too somewhere, but I'm a listener just like all podcasters are. And so, I love audiobooks. So if anyone else is out there, throw in the comments. If you're a reader or a listener, they say in order to actually get the information as best as possible is to do both at the same time, read and listen, which to me sounds, a little challenging, but I guess something you have to, got to try everything once. What's new in the CBD industry, Bruce? Well, we do have a brand new product that's going to come out in the next couple of weeks called Trim X. And it's got some special proprietary ingredients that actually curb sugar cravings and helps the sugar not, absorb in the small intestine. So number one, it'll keep you from getting those late night snacks. And number two, if you do happen to indulge in some chocolate or what have you, then it will keep the sugar from absorbing in your system. So it's actually a medication that goes back to India, and they called it the sugar killer is the name of one of the proprietary organic extracts we're bringing in. So be sure to check that out, and we'll have a lot more to talk about that. And we had some free samples too, so feel free to reach out to me, and I'd love to get you guys some as well. Shea was a great venue back in the day. Let me tell you, man. My first game I ever went to was baseball. It was a double header against St. Louis with my old man. I was 8 years old. I believe it was 1984. And I fell in love. I was there for the 86 run, which was great. And, Doc Gooden and all the, Howard Johnson was my player, number 20, third base. That's what I actually had my number when I played third base growing up. And then, I've been to a couple amazing comeback games and just a lot of great memories at Shea. So my son was born and he had red hair. And so I was like, well, there you have it. We're going to name him Shea. And, a good friend of mine also named his daughter Shea. He's a good Irish Scottish lad. And Shea also can be short for Seamus, which is his middle name as well. So, Shea was a lot of fun. I miss it. Citi Field is beautiful. But boy, when Shea was rocking, it was rocking. We are hoping JLD can reconnect to continue the interview. If not, we'll get him back on again. We'll give him a few more minutes to pop on. And then kinesthetic learning, you got it, brother. I always say proof's in the pudding. That's why we love it when you try our products. If you go over to freechillcbd.com, you can try it for free and see the proof is in the pudding. So absolutely love it here. So thanks everybody for stopping in. Excited to have John Lee Dumas on there in the beginning. We'll be reformatting this and putting it out on different formats, podcasts, and just really excited to have him join the show. So you know how it goes. Technical difficulties happen. Let me see if I got any word from him on the back channel. And maybe they just had some kind of power outage. Things are crazy right now, especially with that, Hurricane Ida hitting the Gulf. He's down there in Puerto Rico. So we'll definitely have him back on and finish up some more questions with him. I see here, I was there for the Tom Seaver days. Well, the franchise, I believe it was today is the 1 year since his passing. So it was, I never did get to see Tom Seaver play in person, but definitely saw the highlights and was certainly, how can't you be impressed with all that he's done. And, it's been since 86 since we've won a World Series, and I hope it, we got our hopes up this year. We were first in the division, and then all of a sudden, the wheels just fell off. Certainly didn't help that our Cy Young best pitcher in baseball, Jacob DeGrom, got injured and put on the shelf. But, as Mets fans, we're used to it. And when we finally do win another World Series, we'll party like it's 1986 instead of 1999 like Pritz. So looking forward to the rest of the session. Absolutely, brother. Hopefully JLD can join us again. If you guys have any questions for JLD, feel free to pop in there and pop in a question or two. If we don't get it on this interview, then we'll get it on the next one. But like I said, it looks like he was having some technical difficulties. If you haven't listened to JLD before, Entrepreneurs on Fire, I highly, 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 highly recommend it. I listen to a lot of podcasts, but there's only 2 or 3 that I listen to every podcast, and Entrepreneurs on Fire is one. The other one would be my show, which is the Miracle Plant podcast. I got to listen back and hear how it all went together and produced. And the third one would be Marketing Secrets with Russell Brunson. So those would be my top 3 podcasts to check out. And we do a live recording of our podcast on Clubhouse. And we'll play this interview and hopefully stretch out some more. And if not, we'll make do with what we have. But you can come on at 10 a.m. Pacific on Clubhouse, and we will chat, answer questions, talk about the Miracle Plant, how it helps people with pain, anxiety, sleep issues, amongst other health ailments. And, we've got a lot of incredible stories out there. So if you're dealing with a health challenge, I highly recommend popping in and asking your question, or listen to some old podcasts. We got people that have successfully overcome neuropathy, rheumatoid arthritis, fibromyalgia. Obviously, our son, battling and recovering from a regressive autism diagnosis. We hear stories about cancer, and it's really incredible. So definitely do check that out. Like I said, we're just waiting to see if old JLD can pop back in. I think he literally lost his internet connection, because I'm not showing that he is even online anymore. So look if there's any back channel action going on. Comments. Let's see. But yeah, well, hopefully he'll pop back in. If not, like I said, we'll do it again. Gregory, every day we get older. This is true, and a little bit wiser, I would like to think as well. So checking out the private chat, nothing in there. So any questions you guys have, like I said, for JLD or for me about this miracle plant, post them in there. For some, every day we get wiser. There you go, brother. Yeah. Some days you feel like not everybody's picking up what we're laying down out there. So we'll give JLD a few more minutes to pop back on. I know he's got a really tight schedule. We were really excited to have him on here. Like I said, we'll get him back on. I think there were some pretty severe internet issues out there. That's the one thing. I used to live in the Caribbean, and it was wonderful, but man, we had blackouts all the time in the DRs where I lived, the Dominican Republic. And we just dealt with it. We did have a generator, and that only fired up our computer room. So we had blackouts, rolling blackouts about half the time. And so we would all huddle up in the little computer room and do our homework, and mostly just play video games and solitaire, putting off writing papers and what have you. But yeah, Puerto Rico is beautiful, and I look forward to going down there. And I want to learn a lot more about, JLD. He moved down to Puerto Rico for, I believe it's called the Act 20 Act bill or something along those lines. And it actually, they've been trying to lure more business entrepreneurs down there. And because obviously they just want more American business owners to have businesses and jobs and all that kind of stuff. So there's a 4% flat tax for business income. So JLD moved down there. Brendan Bouchard moved down there. There's a whole bunch in that crew that moved down to the Puerto Rico to take advantage of those tax breaks. So I am shopping currently, and I will definitely be picking John's brain on some different communities and housing trends and things like that, because at the end of the day, it's not about how much money you make. It's also about how much money you keep. So do tune back in for that, and we'll talk a little bit more about Puerto Rico and its Act bill. I think it's called Act 20, or they say something, Act something or other, but it's a 4% flat tax for business owners in U.S. business owners who go to Puerto Rico. So if you're looking for a place to go, that's where you'll find me likely here in the next few weeks. Act 22, there you go. I thought it was Act 20, but yeah, it could be Act 22. But at the end of the day, it's a pretty cool thing, and JLD talks about it a lot on his podcast, that he was talking to his accountant, and he was living in California, and there was just no way, excuse me, that he could, keep that money. He was giving away 51% of his tax living in California, which is where I live. And so he picked up and moved the family down to good old Puerto Rico, and he's been having a great time ever since. So, well, it looks like we're not going to be able to have him back on. I do want to thank everybody for coming, and we'll have him back on. I'll let you know, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week. But do check out the Miracle Plant podcast wherever you go. Listen to your podcast, and thanks for tuning in, and we will see everybody next week. So thanks, everybody. Talk real soon.